No, I was horrific years ago. I was like, it's like anything, because you're looking after it and you want it to go right, because if it goes wrong, you fail. When you don't want to fail, but sometimes you have to let people fail for it to go right. So I say to the guys, you're in control. When you need me, I'm there constantly, but I have to let them go, and that's great. And that I have to change. And I think the biggest thing in business that you have to, as an owner, you've got to keep changing. You have to listen and change, because you won't have any staff. You won't have a business, and the boss is not always right.
Hello and welcome to Meet Your Inspiration podcast with Meri and Rich. Here we're talking about inspiration, motivation and empowerment. Our guests are ordinary people who became extraordinary, and with sharing their stories, we want to empower you to become the person you want to be and to go beyond your dreams.
Today we've got another special guest. It's great to have Ian with us this morning. Ian is a leader of a local business, Plastics on Demand.
Building Plastics on Demand, that's correct.
Building Plastics on Demand, which is a great business supplying plastics into the building industry.
Yeah, a lot more products. Yeah, so thank you for having me. Yeah,
thank you for joining us.
Ian Ironmonger.
Wow, God, I made it. Gosh, like being on Richard and Judy. Oh, yeah.
So why we're laughing and why we're so exciting, I don't know if I call it pleasure or not. Let's say pleasure. I met Ian 10, 11 years ago when I started my job because he was the sales director there
at the time. Yeah,
and we had great times with Ian. I learned a lot from him, and you were good mentor, let's say, because I remember a few times coming and asking you different things, and me always curious about lots of stuff. So it was quite cool, and now it's really interesting we are sitting here. But fair enough, I don't know much about Ian's journey before I met him, so it's going to be interesting to know your path and to tell us what how your career started.
Wow.
I'll take you back in the time.
I'm 23 now, so not much. So obviously when I left school, I actually went into college and went into the industry of plumbing and heating. So I'm actually a fully qualified plumbing and heating engineer. So I've done all my YTS as it was back then. If you remember that, Richard, we were doing that. So we were working hard on that. Got like an apprenticeship with a local company, and for 4 or 5 years trained on the job, which was good. I used to do college 1 day a week, and become a plumbing and heating engineer. So done that in my early days, which was great. So
did you always want to do that? Was that something you had?
It's just weird. It was like I was really always good around the house with my parents and always doing bits and pieces. And I just remember it's always weird. There was a plumber coming to our house years ago, and I thought, I like what he's doing. It's really random, and I just it's always stuck in my mind. And it was good. I think the first 2 years when we was at college was learning about roofing materials. So at the time, roofing was part of plumbing. It's not so much now, but you had to learn roofing. So it was good. It was a good path. So that's where it all began many years ago.
So from that, you finished your apprenticeship. Did you then carry on for a little while as a plumber?
Yeah. So I did. I worked for a local company, and then I left them and I went out with someone else on our own. Which was good. So we was doing a lot of work in London. We was doing a lot of work for local councils in London, doing a lot of work with British Telecom, doing a lot of their big refit outs. And then, so like mid-80s, there was a crash in the market and there wasn't a lot of work around. And it's like, thankfully, I was still living at home, nice little car that I bought at the time, thinking, oh my God, we're out of work now, we've got to find some work. And I was thinking about this before I come onto this podcast. It's funny in life where there's pinch points that actually make you where you go and where your direction of life is. And I don't know, when I was out of work, wasn't long for a few days. I don't know what it was. I always fancied going into sales, and I was on the tools and I was plumbing, but I always fancied going on the tools because the company that I was working at the time for, they had a plumbers merchants in Welling in Kent, and it was strange. I was out of work for a few days and I went into this plumber's merchants and I said, I really want to go into sales. Do you know anybody that wants a salesperson to train? And ironically, they went, yeah, we do. There's a company called Brett Martin who are in the market. Yeah. And they said, look, we'll speak to the local salesman. And they did. I met him. We had a coffee, I think, in McDonald's at the time. So I was living the dream. And he said, you need to get to Staveley tomorrow. So I remember going off in my dad's car. went to Staveley and got the job.
What was it at that point that sort of, because obviously going from the practical skills to going into sales? I mean, I had a similar path, but slightly different. But what was your key thing? Why was sales? Why was that interesting?
So my dad was always in sales,
right,
so
okay.
I don't know. It was obviously something from that sort of like led me to that, and I think it took a bit of time to the transformation, because it's very strange. But when you're plumbing and you're putting a bathroom suite in or a heating system, you're physically seeing it. You know, you've worked hard at it. What I began to know when I was working for Brett is that you're seeing the products on the shelf, which is great, but you're looking at numbers, and I was just trying to go from like that side to numbers, but it worked. I was like a sales representative there, just covering the southeast, and I was there for a year, which was good. But I just wanted to just keep moving on, and done that for a year. I left them and I joined another company, a distributor down in London, in Cheltenham, doing all roofing materials, polycarbonate, plastics, fascia soffits, and rainwater. And then we done that for another year, and one of the companies that was supplying us at the time was FloPlast, which was quite interesting.
That was a new company.
That was a new company, yeah. And one of the guys I've met a few times in association with my Brett days, and in my head I was like, yeah, I want to work for you. I want to work for that company. And obviously I met up with the sales manager at FloPlast, just on the side as you do, and he said, there's not a job at the moment, but I'm sure there will be. And then, I think a few months went past. He called me up and said, you need to get down to the head office. So I went down there with him and the director at the time. And, we had a good chat. And he said, yeah, okay, you've got the job. I was super naive. So they give me an A4 sheet of paper. I will never forget it. And I was living in Kent at the time, or living up in Bexley. And they said, you'll be covering Cornwall and Wales. So I was like, oh, that's fine. That's not a problem. So I looked on the map and it's like about 1.5 inches. I was like, oh, that's all right. Yeah, unbeknown to me, because I was pretty green as grass, 8 hours to my first call.
Well, I hope you had Devon and Somerset.
Oh, I had the lot. They give me everything. They give me the lot, yeah. So I used to go like literally 4 or 5 week cycle, literally from my house all the way down to Wales, Haverford West, Carmarthen, that back down. I'm like literally living out of a suitcase.
Yeah. And back in the time, how many sales guys you were?
There was only a couple of us. When we was at Flo, there was only a few of us. Yeah,
it was just the beginning.
Just the beginning. Yeah, that was like, I joined in '92, so that was like the beginning of where it started. So.
Because they hadn't been going that long at that point.
They hadn't been going that long, a couple of years in, yeah. And it was strange, actually. I was talking to someone last night that I met, and I said it's funny how business has actually evolved over the years now, where now social media, everyone just pings out to try and get new business. I used to literally do from Monday to Thursday, then get home, get down to the office in Sittingbourne Friday, brown envelopes, a letter, looking for business. They got, honestly, 20 odd envelopes, then going down the post office and posting them off to try and generate business. So when I'm back in the area again, we start again. So we had no internet then, we had no sat nav, so you would have to think about where you're driving and making sure you made marks on your cards. So it was tough time.
70,000 makes miles. You to think how in one lifetime, or even not lifetime, what is that, 30 years time?
Yeah.
How quickly the things change. It's a bit worrying to think what's going to happen in the next 20 years.
Yeah, well, I remember
with this speed.
I think it was like a GSM network on the phone, so it was an in-car phone, so no one could get hold of you when you're in the call, and there were so many things. But yeah, my first car, I think, was an Astra, no air conditioning, no power steering, 70,000 miles in that little baby. Yeah.
But do you think that time and all this that you were doing in your first years as a sales representative teach you lots of important and valuable skills that you use them nowadays?
Yeah, I think it does, because obviously when I with the sales manager there at the time, I took that, and what I learned was the relationships that he had with the customers, and I'm thinking, I can sell the product, I know the product, I'm going to struggle to get through the relationships. And I thought relationship is key to where you've got to get to. So no matter how good the product is and the company, if they love you, you love them, this is going to work. And that was the biggest thing. I could drive there, I could get there, I could talk to them. And I was thinking, I've got to bash that relationship in a nice way, just so that he could get on and do what he wanted to do, and I'd done. So
because you had two things really at that point, because you had obviously relatively new into sales.
You've been it's only a few years.
But obviously one of the key things at that point is you're working with a company that maybe most of the agents and the people you were going to see, the plumbers merchants, they wouldn't know you. Because as a trained plumber, know that people would associate a brand and they go, oh, plumbing fittings, we'll buy this brand.
Correct.
Or we'll buy this brand, or we'll buy that brand. And who is this company? Where are they?
And that was probably one of the other hardest things when I was at Brett Martin. They had an array of products. They had a load of products from drainage to soil to, and it's brilliant. So when I left there and went to Flow, we had a few sticks of pipe, literally facial balls, not many colours. So the range was very limited. So you're going into these big merchants trying to switch someone, and you've only got half a product range. And that was hard. But that grew and grew and grew over time. So that was.
And you grow, I'm pretty sure, and you change and you learn a lot. What about, I'm still going in the beginning, when you make that shift to go in sales, did you had someone that was helping you, teaching you? Because for me, I don't know, especially back in the time, sales and communication, I know nowadays we talk a lot about that. We've got networking nowadays. How you manage to do that? Or have you been always a bubbly person?
I think there's always, I was quite a shy person, really quiet, shy person.
Excuse me?
Exactly, that's me. I think I was. But I think it just you just listen to people, and it's just down to shoe leather. Going out there, driving to places you've never driven to before, meeting people you've never met before, and just having the inclination to cold call for the first time. That was new.
I don't know whether you probably did this, and I remember I did this because I sort of started in sales in '94.
Right.
But I remember going into an area. And I used to sit in reception, and there'd always be a telephone directory in reception. And I'd be in this area, and I think, I'm not sure. So I'd pull out the yellow pages and get the yellow pages, and I'd go with plastics processes.
There you go,
And I'd literally go through and I'd make a few notes and write them down in my book while I was waiting in reception to go before I go and see the client.
That's exactly what you needed. So you needed to get all the yellow pages and all the local whatever it was going to be. So I remember in our house, there was like all these yellow pages from where we was, all these maps. So that's the other thing you forget, is that today you put it into sat nav and it's going to go boxes on maps. And that was the thing as well. You could always get to somewhere. You could always get to a town or a city, but trying to find the road. So then you had to get a separate map for that. So there was a lot going on. Yeah. So the technology wasn't there. So it was really basic.
Obviously, when I met you, you already been top. You make your journey, and that's really impressive to start from being beginning. And when I met you, you were the sales director and you had a team. How, give me a bit more, obviously when the business grew and you needed to recruit and to build a team, how these skills come to you? Because obviously at school you didn't learn about that.
I didn't.
Did it come with your experience and the people around you?
Because, it did, I would say, because you're looking at it from a customer's point of view. That I've done many interviews, and there were some good people. There was not so many good people. There's a gut feeling that you do get, and I still get that to this day. I really do. And I think, like we had a conversation earlier on, you can look at people's CV and they can see how wonderful. But if you can communicate, and the last thing you want to do is bring a fantastic customer on and lose it because the person you've taken on doesn't look after them, and that's it. So there's been a lot of interviews over the time. That it's just getting that right person, and it's not everyone's job. And I suppose the other thing that we used to find is that we were staying away a lot. 30 years. I spent many hotels in all over the place, and some people just can't stay away. So you'd interview someone, and it's like, I can do the job. I don't want to stay away, and I fully respect that. And it's hard because for when my girls weren't even born when I was starting the job, but you miss a big part of your family's life. So that's hard as well. So
because you remember we were always talking, I was thinking, I would love to be a sales rep and etc. And you were telling me back in the time, you've got a little boy, you're not really sure, because it's not only the fancy and the good sides. You've got you need to struggle with customers that they're not going to be very friendly, not very good.
And it is a lonely job, and that's why that's why you do need a good team around you, for mentally, particularly now. You do need to get to know your customers because it becomes personal. I used to go, it's still a funny story today, one of our old customers back down in Wales, every week or every month I'd go down there and meet him, always want to go out for dinner, every time. And he would want to go out for an Indian takeaway. Unfortunately, as much as Indian's lovely, it doesn't agree with me. I can't eat Indian. And he'd always make sure we go to an Indian. But I had to do it because I needed that business. So needs must. So I'll be there with my chicken and chips.
Plain and rice.
But that's it. So getting to know it. And it becomes a lonely job. And people think it's glitz and glam. You're going to go to another hotel, going to go to another restaurant. you want to be with your family sometimes, because you miss that. That's important. So
and sitting eating on your own in the evening is not always.
And Christmas time's difficult. You talk about going out and doing something. When you sat down in somewhere in the darkest deepest of somewhere, and you're tucking into your dinner, and you've got the family at Christmas time before you're thinking, I wish I was. But that's needs must. That's just what you want to do for your family with your whatever way you're going to do that. So that was my choice, and that's what we've done. So.
And I'm pretty sure when you look back, you're quite happy with what you achieved, what you did, because I know that you built really good. Although that was told in the beginning, you built really good relationships with customers who became friends. I assume, because this is what with Richard very often we talk, and he's saying that very much. Lots of his customers become friends.
Your friendship and trust, because at the end of the day, it's sort of. You make a promise. You say, okay, we're going to deliver this contract. We're going to deliver this to you regularly. This is what we're going to work on. And what you say has to go. And you have to know that what's behind you is backing you up.
The team is right, correct?
If
you can be as good as you want.
Because your relationship with the clients is very important, but also your relationship with the back team is really important.
And this is where I can say that I've seen with my eyes that Ian was always very very well balanced, and I can remember obviously seeing you working with the back team, because it's not only the people that are on the road and the clients. You always had that touch, and it was every week you were in the office, isn't it, to speak with them, to check on them, which I think it was quite good and important, because at the end of the day they're all part of this whole.
If you're going to go away and deliver, like you say to your customers, so I can do it, it's your name that's on it, and if it's not made, if they can't deliver it, if something goes wrong, you've got to sort it out. And I think that friendship over years, and that's I always say now, never burn your bridges. You never know what's going to happen in life. You don't, as things have materialised in life. But people have got to understand that is the journey, and you'll meet these people out there somewhere in different areas, which is quite interesting. So look after your customers, because if you don't, someone else will. That is it. So.
Obviously, all these years build lots of relationship, good work, and it comes the time where you set up your business.
I did, yes.
How challenging was this? Because to start maybe a new business, it's not, although it's the industry that I assume obviously your knowledge was. Take us through the steps.
That becomes local as well, doesn't it?
It does, and I think that was always the key. Obviously, when I left FloPlast, it was like, right, okay, where are we going to go? And there was a few opportunities, and you still want to travel around the country, and you just say, it's what you get out of bed and you travel 8 hours. It's balmy. Again, it's a bit of another pinch point where I actually went for an interview with a company, and on the way back, I just pulled up at services, grabbed the coffee, and I phoned someone. I phoned this person to say, look, I'm now going to work on a new project, new product. Do you fancy taking it into stock? He went, before you do that, we need to have a cup of coffee because I've got something I want to talk to you about. And literally the rest is history. We went for this cup of coffee, and obviously one of my partners now said, Ian, we've got a very successful merchants. We want to open a building plastics merchant. We need you to do this. And I said, I've got the skill set to know the manufacturers. Not everyone, but I know them.
Yeah.
I know the industry. I don't know the customers. I don't know the builders and the plumbers, which is crazy because I've got 50% of what I need.
Yeah.
So he said, don't worry about that. We can deal with that. Let's go for it. And that was it. We had a cup of coffee. I went away. 24 hours later, we shook on it. And then the rest is history.
Wow.
There was a unit I was looking at for someone else, and I said, let's try and get this unit in Gravesend. And it took a few months. It was quite stressy, first ever one. So again, when you're working for someone, it is a comfort blanket, I've got to say. When you've got your family around you, whether you have or haven't, you've still got bills to pay, and you think, right, that income's got to come in. And whether it's the income, whether it's the pensions, all the bits that
it's
surrounds
everything,
it, cars, everything, the whole thing. And then, it's little old you, and you're going to make it work. So
how did you find that adapted? Because obviously to go from the sales role where you're managing people, but all of a sudden the project is much more wholesome.
Oh my God, yeah. So we got a brand new unit based in Gravesend. It is a box. That's how I can describe it. A brand new box, and we got to kit this thing out. And I'm thinking, right, okay, we've got to get the electricians in, the plumbers in, and I know an awful lot of people, and that's when you start making phone calls. And it's been a massive challenge, massive challenge, because there's a few things. One, You're going to build new relationships with your manufacturers, with new people that I never met before. You've got to learn new systems. We've got a system that we use now at work, so I'm trying to learn that system. You've got an array of things that I never would have done in the past. What I'm having to do now. So no matter what age you are in life, you're always going to be learning. And as I said to someone a few weeks ago, it is like, or the first year or two, it was like being in treacle, because you think like it's really hard work, and you read a lot of books and you listen to some of the podcasts. And I was listening to a podcast with Stephen from the Dragon's Den a little while ago for 2 hours on a journey, first one in a long time. And the first 20 minutes of that podcast I could have written, and it was just like how it felt. And it's everything. It's the emotional roller coaster as well you go through, and it's really positive. Then you get a low and it's a high, and there's a lot attached to it. But again, you need good people around you. And there's a few of us that own a business. My team that I've now got, a complete new team from when we started in the early days. Got a really good team now, and it's people. And when you listen to a lot of the entrepreneurs, it's the team that's around you going forward. Eventually, whenever that happens, it doesn't happen straight away. That's good. We've had HR issues. There's so many issues, and you think, oh no.
Especially for I would say small business, but you know what I mean. I don't mean.
No,
I don't want to make
Meri,
it.
Due respect, when we started our business, we got the keys on when did we start the business? I started looking at it on early March 2023. Got the keys 31st of August. I was already planning, developing what we're going to do inside. Following weekend, we were building, so that took a few months. So we opened that doors on the 6th of November with no customers. Absolutely no customers.
Then I can say,
and the reason we've done that, because we're a merchant. I was supplying the merchants from my previous job.
Yeah.
I still had loyalty to a lot of the customers around, and it's like, we literally opened, and I was like, never open in November, please. But with the legal side of things, that's when we open. So I open the doors and no one comes in. We've got all this nice stock and tumbleweed. So again, you're rebuilding again from where you started.
But I'm pretty sure now, if you look back, you will be very proud with what you achieved.
Well, yeah,
because
and
obviously I'm following just on the socials, and I can see that it's growing your business.
100%. Yeah.
And it's definitely, this is another conversation often we've got, and it's again about when you work for someone, lots of boxes are ticked by some other people where we don't think about it. But when you take the things under your hat, it is really different. And especially to start, this is not like you start a job that you can do from your desk at home, let's say being marketing, social media manager, that you can grab your laptop and sit in a hotel and do it. You are building, basically. You've got the stock, you've got the place, you need to do all this, as you said, HR, marketing, everything you need
have a look
to...
at your fixed costs, what all of a sudden happens, and it's not even some of the big costs, it's all the little costs in between. It's like, checking this and that. So there's a lot.
One advantage you do have, I think, when you've been doing what you were doing before and selling and going in to see all the individual trade businesses you were working with before, you probably walk in and go, if I was running this business, it would be laid out like this. If I was doing this business, I would like that stock, or I would like my people on the front desk to be dealing with people in this way. That's
exactly what we've done. So when I look at, I've dealt with probably most merchants around the UK. There's some fantastic ones. There's not some, each to their own. And I've said I've taken out every bit of good and bad and put it into ours. And there's probably a few things that I look at that where we're based in Gravesend. There's 6 new units that they are, and as estates are, it's quite a prestigious estate. I've got some big key brands next to me, and one thing a lot of people sometimes feel, not just on the trade, but homeowners, they don't always want to come into a merchant because there's a stigma to our industry. So we make it really nice and clean and crisp, and we get a lot of homeowners coming through, and they're, oh wow, it's fantastic. And then on the flip side to that, going back to relationships, the people that I've now got from the early day, we've got some fantastic relationships because I'm treating them the way I'd like to be treated, and vice versa. And they come in, have a cup of tea, have a good time with the guys. And as I said to my team, we look after our customers. We get looked after. They will look after us. Just keep doing that. That's what you got to do fundamentally.
For me, I'm a person that I don't understand much of these merchant trades and etc. I'm pretty sure you've got some of the big brands in the area. There is no way you don't have them. or some other merchants as well, how you manage to get, I don't know, how is the competition in the area? Because it's, I assume it's quite big.
It is big. So we've gone, I'm working with about 60 suppliers that I've got into our place. So that's quite a challenge on its own, because just to go and get 60, you got to know your stuff. And some of them I didn't know. There's always going to be competition, and I've got some big competition, but actually some of the competition bring a lot of business into you as well, for varying reasons. So
because maybe, as you mentioned, if you what you're doing and you're finding it's going to implement in your business and it's going to be different than others, maybe these are some of your bonuses.
We're very much like I would call it as a hybrid, because although we're building plastics on demand, we have a lot of plastic products. We have a lot of roofing products because of my other a couple of partners that are in the business as well. So we are like quite a one-stop shop in what we do, and even looking outside the box. And this is the thing I've seen in our industry. Sometimes we get very stagnated in what we want, and it's not what I want, what you want. It's what the customer wants out there.
Yeah.
And when you look at the power of social media, one of the products that we've taken in is acoustic panels. Just one product, and I can say that. And the reason I say that is when we started this business, my business partner said, Ian, TikTok, it's going mad on these wall panels. We need to get them in. We've got them in, and they're doing really, really well. So you have to just keep looking outside the box, what's around at the time, and trends change, colours change, people's taste change, but you have to go there, otherwise you get left behind. And you can see that on our high streets where things haven't changed and they get left behind. So
I think one of the things that also is really required, and probably can set a particular business out, is the advice that the people are able to have. So if you've got someone coming in and you're looking at, particularly, I guess, if you're a plumber or maybe even a homeowner, and a homeowner, if they go into one of the big sheds, one of the difficulties they have, they walk around and they've sort of got a list of, I need a bend, I need a bit of pipe here, I need this fitting. But they're really sort of, and they get home and they piece it all together and they then go, oh, I've got all these bits missing, because they haven't really got it all in their head. But one of the things that you can do when you go to an independent is actually quite often the person behind the desk is also able to support and say, well, actually, what you're actually doing with your projects, or turn around and say, well, actually, maybe I could just get you to speak to Ian, and he'll just advise you all the things you need to do.
When I was at Flow, so one of the things we've done was a lot of product training to a lot of people. You know, whether you know the product or not, because things are going to keep changing. The fortunate thing where we are, I've got a couple of big household brands or household names. They don't need product training the way they operate their business, whereas we do. So anyone that comes through, they will get exactly what they want. And the biggest thing is upselling. In our industry still, we're very lapsadaisy on upselling. So if you go into someone like McDonald's, they're always going to say, would you like a large, super large? If you go into Starbucks, your favourite, or Costa Coffee, your second favourite, would you like the new coffee bean? They always ask you the question. So I always said to my guys, whatever you do, make sure whatever we've got, make sure you upsell it. It just might be an extra tube of silicone. It could be an extra face. It could be an extra something. But that extra sale over a 12-month period could be massive. So that's good. But on the flip side to that, we do a lot of engagement with our manufacturers. So we have every month I do a demo day with a manufacturer, which is really good. So we do a lot of social media on the manufacturer that's coming down, in-house promotions, really, really give it our all. So month on month we're doing it. So we are still the new kids on the block where we are. We're not.
You are doing well, and definitely I like the mindset behind, because it's not the usual one. It's giving something different and better that you took from your experience,
and that's what it does. There's a lot of people with experience, and sometimes there's a lot of people out that want to go off on their own and do it. They're not, there's obviously a huge cost to it. I was just at the right place, right time, stopping, making that phone call, met people, and the rest is history. So I believe in fate, and sometimes you just got to go with your gut, and it happens. And it's tough. There's no getting away. It's a challenge, but you've got to just think, that light is coming. That light is coming.
But it is coming.
And it is there.
It's very interesting how a few months ago you called me and you were like, I've got a friend that you have to get on your podcast. And I remember it was so fun. It was like, what are you talking about? And you were coming up with a name that already was on the pipeline for the podcast. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? How you met him?
So it is weird in life. And, I've got some great friends still at FloPlast, and I've got a lot of good customers. And they do say in life, as one door shuts, another one opens. So and that's what you make it. So although I've don't work where I used to work, and I know where I work now. Again, fate. Someone come through my front door, a builder, said, Ian, I think you'd be good at BNI. And I know this company, BNI. I said, yeah, let's go for this, a big networking company. So I went up, which is literally a minute from my place in Gravesend, met this team, having this meeting. I was like, there, this is for me. Straight in it, went straight into that. And I met a lot of good people. I started doing a lot of business networking very, very quickly, because going back to us, we've worked, you're networking constantly. This time I'm networking for me, for my business. So all of a sudden I've got like 50 new people I'm working with. And yeah, one of the guys, Dan Dowse, really a good friend of mine now. Never met him. I've only been in BNI 12 months, good relationship. And we met, and I think you met him first, and just funny how we met each other. And yeah, the rest is history. I said, you got to get this guy on. And there's a fair few others. So since where I was, which was Gravesend, I've now moved to another BNI in Chislehurst, and there's 65 people in this, in all walks of life.
Okay, I'll ask you a question for a person like me, or maybe some of our listeners. I know that BNI got a specific way of networking, where it's like a bit like a closed group, if I'm right or not. Can you just give a bit of light on what it is for people who listen to?
Yeah, so with BNI, it is and isn't a closed group. What they do is that if there's X amount of people in the room, they'll only have one person of that particular trade. So if you was a hairdresser, they wouldn't want loads of hairdressers in. Okay. So that's how that works. So once you're like, they call it locked in, you're locked in for that year period, so that you can go and promote your business to all the people that are around the table. There's other people coming as guests. There's other people coming. You might bring a couple of people in. There might be a car dealership person that you might know that's not in it, wants to join, and they can actually join. They call them chapters, your chapter. And what it basically does, although you're selling to the room, so there could be, my chapter's got 65 people, you're going to see them every week. What you've got to educate them is that you've got to educate them what you sell. So that when they're in having a conversation, they go, oh, God, yeah, I know someone does media wall panels. It's Ian. And that's where it is. And it's working. So I give a lot of work out to a lot of the room. I'm using a lot of the room already, which is great. And you'd be surprised what happens. And it's really strange.
How it's come back to you.
We've got, in our one, we've got a jeweler disassociated with our industry, okay? He's done some work for myself and my wife on some jewellery, come around my house. And he said, oh, do you know a guy around the corner, an electrician? I went, yeah, I know that electrician. He's in BNI up the road. And what you're allowed to do, you're allowed to go into these other meetings on different days, or you can actually sub for someone. So if someone's not there on a particular day, they say, can someone else try and fill that slot? So I texted, I said, Darren, I didn't know you was in BNI. Can I come and sub? And he went away to New York 2 weeks later, and I was in there. So you have to go out and do it. You've got to, a lot of what we talk about, the shoe leather from the early days, you must go out there and talk to people. So it's a really good way of networking. And you look at it now, we have in our chapter 65 people around the table, from accountancies to hairdressers to electricians, that are like your salespeople. They're out there. So when they're in having a conversation, no difference when people come into my place, my unit. If someone says, oh, I need an electrician, I'm like, I know exactly who that's going to be. And that's what works. And that's how you generate the business. So that door closes, a new one opens, and I've got some really, really lovely people now.
So you start different types of networking now?
It's another networking, So I do that every week. So that's 6 o'clock every week, which is good. But I suppose the golden nugget is you never know who's going to be in that room. So although you've got 60 people in there, you have new people coming in, maybe want to join, and it's like, oh God, that's really good. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just for me to clear for myself as well, to know what is the difference.
Escape to luxury at Hempstead House Hotel and Spa, an elegant country house hotel in Bapchild, near Sittingbourne, Kent. Relax with indulgent spa treatments. Dine in style with exquisite cuisine. Perfect for getaways, weddings and events. Experience luxury in the heart of Kent. Book your stay today.
Be the first to discover Kent's best events all in one free app. What's On in Kent is a new and rapidly growing app where you can find days out information, places to eat, festivals, concerts, markets, and much more around you. Just with few clicks on your phone or computer, you can stay updated with real-time info and explore events across Kent. Don't even think twice. Just download. It's free.
So, Ian, do you go out to networking outside BNI?
Yeah. So again, one of my friends in BNI, there's another networking. There's so many networking places. So there's another networking group I went to this week, which was really good. And again, you meet varying people. So I met a builder there who does building material, building work. So I'm now connected with him. He's open up an account. So this is what this is all about. It's about engaging with lots of different people that could be buying from you. You can help their businesses. So that's that. I've also just joined the Federation of Small Businesses, which has been really, really interesting for me, which is good. And again, it's another networking. So just got to keep spreading your wings. And it's just all the people that you meet in life. And in the last few weeks, it's been a bit networked out, but you can network every day. And that's the nice thing about it.
So because it's your own business, how are you managing your time? And are you at the moment, it is relatively new.
Yeah.
Are you having at least a day in a week that you're taking off, or how
I think the biggest thing for any business, you're spinning at the start so many plates, and I mean you're just spinning, and you're just trying to do so much. And one of the guys there is a business coach, and it's quite interesting what they say is that you just can't constantly be busy. You've got to get things right, and we're getting things right now. In fact, we sat down with a team yesterday. I've got a really good team on the trade counter, guys who know their knowledge. So it's good that I can go away, leave them out. One of our other business partners that we've got, so like me and him are out and about. So it just needs must sometimes. So at least I know with the BNI what I do, it's every week. So I know it's every week. And other things happen, like the Federation of Small Businesses come along. It's like they invited me to a meeting. It's like, right, get that one in the diary. So then all of a sudden people are saying, can you come here and you come there? So you've got to be careful you don't get like networked out, but you have to go out there. And I suppose from our perspective, because we're a young business still, I need to get our name out there, business networking or through social media. That's the biggest part as well at the moment. So,
and I was talking here about inspiration and meet your inspiration. Your journey is as well quite interesting. How it starts, where it goes, and I'm pretty sure it will go even better and develop. Did anyone in your life play that role that you want, like a role model? Obviously, you said back in the time, maybe your dad,
what you've seen, what he's done. He was insurance all his life, so it's different.
Did you had kind of support and people around who lift you, who help you?
What we're doing now at the moment?
No, in general, in your life, if you look back,
there's always good people in your life, isn't there? Your family are there, your partners are there. It's great.
It's not always good.
It's not always good. It's not always good people, but you siphon out the bad people and you want the good people around you.
No, I mean, sorry, it's because when we've got sometimes people here sitting and not always they had the family support, or it will be someone strange, or it might be a teacher. This is what I mean. Did you
my wife's been a phenomenal support the kids have, the family have, and it's people around you. And I think that goes back to never burn your bridges, because when you need lots of different people, you can just pick up a phone and you might not have spoke to them for ages. And all of a sudden, it's like you spoke to them yesterday. It's like, do you know, can you help? Can you put me in that right direction? This is the biggest thing in life, in business. Don't burn your bridges, because you will need people at some point, or you're going to meet them at a trade day, or you meet them somewhere else. People get to know you very quickly. And when you're doing all these, even when you're putting stuff on social media, I'm not massive myself. My daughter does it for me, for love of dad and the business. It's just, it's the way this business and networking goes today. So if you're going to put yourself out there, make sure you're going to do the job properly. And,
of course.
I go back to when this journey began. One of my business partners was a customer of ours for 30 odd years. And who would have known I'd be working for a company that was actually opposite my secondary school when I was at school back then in Plumstead. They had a big merchant all type roofing who a lot of my friends worked to, and are still there today. And we're all partners. And it's because I supplied him for 30 years, had a fantastic relationship. And then when things changed in my life, they picked up the phone.
Because at the end of the day, it's you and your name, and it doesn't matter which companies we work for. At the end of the day, it's you as a personality that if you, that's a great example.
That's the thing about our industry, where we're at. Some of the skill set and relationships, they're not there, and I can see that where we are today. I've got some really good people that come through the door. There's others that I'm like, God, this is, because I know what I wanted when I was looking for stuff. So that relationship is key, and that's what will grow your business from working with your suppliers to working with your customers that are over the trade counter. And if it all goes well, good. When it goes bad, you still have to go help.
So when you're growing, as you're growing the business and you're looking for new people, what do you look for in new people when you're what are their skill sets?
Well, it's quite interesting because even at FloPlast, there was a few guys that weren't even in our industry. They were selling. There was a couple that actually worked for John Lewis and the partnership there, and they never had the skill set of the product, but it's the one-to-one they could communicate. So if I tell you now that one of my guys that working for me is in sales, he's been with me since March. He lives in this area where we're based now. He was a estate agent at his own business, and he is phenomenal at what he does. Didn't know the products, amazing salesperson, really, really good. One of my other guys, he works for one of the a big brand in the food industry, big in management, that side. He now works for me. Didn't have a clue about patience and soffits and knew about apples and oranges and everything else. But it's that skill set of, and we always had that flow, is that if you've got someone that's got 50% of what you need, you can build upon that as well. So
you've got that mindset in you, which is great, because this is what we notice in the, and I think this is how it should be, because not everybody will know
I have
all the details.
I look at it, we've got 60 suppliers. You'll never go, I don't know how some of the products work to even me, and it's my business, but I know the business side. So to go and get someone that's out there that's going to know every single product is a challenge. They're going to learn it. But if they can sell the product, speak to people in a nice way, deal with problems, that's a massive part of anybody's business, because they are your forefront. They are you.
They are you,
aren't they? So
we had a guest. She called the people mini youth.
Mini youth,
it's really good. So.
But you've got to let them breathe, and you've got to let them. I was probably, I suppose, in the early days, you do it yourself. It's like you're in control of it, bit control-y freak. But I have to delegate.
How you find it this to try to step a bit back and give them a bit more freedom?
I have to. I've
decisions.
learned that. I was horrific years ago. I was like, because it's like anything, because you're looking after it and you want it to go right. Because if it goes wrong, you fail. When you don't want to fail, but sometimes you have to let people fail for it to go right. So I'm now. I say to the guys, you're in control. When you need me, I'm there constantly. But I have to let them go, and that's great. And that I have to change. And I think the biggest thing in business that you have to, as an owner, you've got to keep changing. You have to listen and change, because you won't have any staff. You won't have a business, and the boss is not always right. By far,
No.
He's not always right. So
no, because it's a normal human being as everybody else, and may know
exactly, and utilise your team, what's around you. Because if I've got people coming to the trade counter, want a particular product, and I'm not listening, we're going to lose them sales. If I know it's going to work, you've got to listen, and that's what's going to make it.
And this is a model who you can see in every part of life. It's not just like about building products or plastics. It's about everywhere that can be implemented. Have you ever worked with a business coach or anything like that?
I've never worked with one. I know a couple of business coaches there in BNI that I'm not working with, but
maybe
just
during
guiding. And there's things and
advices.
And that's a nice thing. There's a lot.
So
of
you
advice.
open to advices and to get
because I'm never going to be right, and like you say, going back to that spinning plates all the time. You want to get the sale, you want to make sure the bills are being paid, and that's happening. But there's some good people, and that's going back to the people around me now, and that's what I said. As one door shuts, a new one opens. You get a new team.
Without going too much into your personal life, I've met one of your daughters years ago, and I was absolutely impressed by her personality and the way how she was exactly networking and talking to people, let's say. Do you want just to give us, only if you want, of course, just a little bit how, in terms of support, if I'm pretty sure you support all their decisions and etc. Have you been the dad that setting up the path for them, or what you want them to do or how to do, or you are more the one that will support and help with their decisions?
My wife and I never pushed them hard, because I've seen kids that have got pushed and they just get pushed the wrong way. So of course you want to push your children. You want your children to do the best they can no matter what. We've always supported, whether that's at school or through work, and even on exams when it was like, everyone's like, you must get A's and B's and this and that. You're going to get what you're going to get. But what you do, as long as you've got a good personality, communicate with people, be a nice person, and that's going to take you far. And that's where they both got in their life. They got two phenomenal jobs. It's good.
That's great. So this is because it's important, the support of, as we talk, family, and it's a bit more the understanding, because I don't, as you said, we want the kids to do good, but you can't, if they want to be an artist, you can't ask them to be a dentist, isn't it? It's a bit like
that is
the clash is coming.
And I think that's the thing. Sometimes people have a business, say, right, you're going to be what you're going to be, but it's like, I don't want to be doing that. So,
and talking about that, are they at all anything interest from your business?
Oh my God, oh my God, they're a massive part of it in their own way. And Amelia, my youngest, she's always down helping and talking to the customers when she's there and doing bits. Olivia, my eldest, she does all social media. That's her job. So, for the love of dad.
So they are, it's their wish to be part of it.
Yeah, which is nice, because social media, and you're either good or mixed, and you need to be there. So she's really good at that. So it's and I'm proud of that, because she can help me, and that's helped our business. And even from the early days, we've got customers that are using us from social media, where she was sending out posts, who we are, what we're doing, and that's good. So it does work.
And what you doing in your spare time? What is your way?
Podcasts.
Obviously. No, I mean, different people find different ways. What is your way to go for a walk, to swim, to play golf?
Golf was always an agenda, but that's not happening at the moment. So it's nice to go off, spend more family time together, go off for nice just walks, go down to the coast.
I assume nowadays you've got much more time back than when you were the sales director.
I've got less time at the moment, because you just
because you build the business.
It's just the way your times feel. Like, I was up at 5 o'clock this morning just doing loads of paperwork, so your times are slightly different. But it's just nice to chill out with the kids or my wife and just take a chill pill. I think it's going to be okay.
And where does it go next, Ian?
Where does it go next?
What's your next plan?
So obviously with my partners, they've got a phenomenal business at the moment. We're going to certainly do some integration. Our plan is to get other depots. As time goes on, our depot that we have now, our branch, is like a third or fourth sort of like branch in our industry. So we just want to make sure we're in a good position, which we are. We're driving that way, and to get more branches going forward. So it gives other people opportunity for work. That's our plan going forward. So we've got like a 10-year plan, and we're a few years into it. So
but that's good. Without plan, you don't know where you're going. That's why it's important to have a plan.
But you need to have that foundation is key to everything. Otherwise, it's just going to crumble. And we're on the right path. We're on the right path.
Do you want to give one valuable advice?
One.
You gave quite a few, but is there anything
I think the valuable bit is that it is tough, but you'll get there. You just got to just keep thinking it's going to come, and it will. The hard work you're going to put into it will come. And if you've got that mindset and you've got really good people around you, and I keep going back to that because that's what you need, you will get through it. And that's not down to monetary. That can just be, mentally help support. There's lots of support. And, there's a lot of awareness, which I do with my guys on the mental side of life today. We all go through mental challenges. This for me has been a complete mental challenge, I think. And people don't see that until you actually start talking to people that have got a business, whether they're established now or many years ago. They've all gone through that mindset, and you just don't see that. We all see this facade of like everyone's happy. We're a bit of a swan, all up top, very nice, but you're paddling like mad, and you think, God, this is hard, but you will get through it. Whenever that's going to be, it may be a year, 2 years for everybody.
But if you work about it,
work hard, quite a good team around you. That's what you need. Get networking with people, and look after people. So, and always say please and thank you. So one thing I do a lot, I've always said to speak to my guys, say really appreciate what you've done. Send a text, speak to them. It doesn't cost anything, but I just think that's...
Trust me, if you're on the other side, it does mean a lot.
Yeah, but
when someone is on knowledge.
Always please and thank yous, and just like, you're doing really well, because that's what people want to hear.
Yeah, acknowledgement
is key. Yeah. Acknowledgement is key. So acknowledge people. Yeah. That's good.
Ian, thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.
Absolute pleasure to have you with us to share.
We'll have you a few years later when you start to open the depots for the opening days.
It's been great. It's been really good. Thank you for having me.
So we'll share the link to Ian's business down below. Please do have a look. If you're in the Kent area and you're looking for building supplies, please do contact Ian. He'd much appreciate it. Hopefully you found today's episode really interesting. Ian is certainly a real inspiration of changing his steps and his career path and going into setting up a business, which goes to show it doesn't matter any age, the opportunity is there, and hard work and graft is the key. So Ian, thank you.
My pleasure.
Hope you really enjoyed today's episode. If you're watching on YouTube, please do give us a like and do subscribe. And we've got one little thing to ask.
And also, please, if you want to help and support us, please buy us a coffee on a link below. And like that, you're going to help us to bring more and more inspirational stories like today's one to the world. Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.